In his eyes, all girls would turn into stone people. It turns out Park Jin-woo loved to hit on girls since he was a child. But every time he would make those girls cry. Because of this, Park Jin-woo's young mind was deeply hurt. Having lost his confidence, he created an imaginary friend and sought help from that friend. So Jason gave Park Jin-woo a suggestion. Why not just imagine all girls as stones? After that, Park Jin-woo began to practice mind control. After this behavior continued for several years, starting from the first year of middle school, girls really started to look like stones. Jin-woo, are you free after school today? I want you to help me catch up on my homework. To deal with this situation, Jason gave Jin-woo a second suggestion. Don't flatter yourself. Don't think that just because a girl smiles at you or invites you out, she likes you. If you don't want to get hurt, you must reply to her, I'm sorry, I'm not free today. Since listening to Jason's suggestion and seeing girls as stones, Jin-woo felt that getting along with girls became much easier. However, this was also a matter of course, because you don't need to give any feelings to stones. How did I do today, Jason? You did very well, Jin-woo. However, I'm worried. Whether you won't be able to fall in love because of this? What nonsense are you talking about? Haven't I already decided to give up on that kind of thing long ago? Rather than hearing others say I'm terrible or not good enough, I am actually more comfortable like this, Jin-woo. He thought this kind of life would continue forever. Until one day, that girl appeared. Excuse me, is this your phone? When he heard the girl's voice, Jin-woo didn't react much. But when he turned around, he could no longer stay calm, because his superpower failed. The girl in front of him actually didn't turn into stone. You should know that, at this moment, Park Jin-woo had not seen a girl's face for a whole 5 years. He kept telling himself to calm down. Why aren't you answering me? The moment the girl spoke, Park Jin-woo's last shred of sanity vanished. She is really so beautiful. After subconsciously saying this, Park Jin-woo froze, and the girl who heard this was also startled. Without saying another word, Park Jin-woo snatched the phone from the girl's hand. Thank you for picking it up for me, and I'm sorry. After leaving these 2 sentences, Park Jin-woo ran away. The girl, on the other hand, had a look of surprise. She completely didn't understand what had happened. Park Jin-woo felt he must be crazy, actually telling a girl he met for the first time that she looked beautiful. If this kind of thing got out, then it would really be over for him. After returning home, Park Jin-woo started seeking help from Jason again. He really didn't understand why this kind of thing happened. Clearly, all this time, all girls would turn into stone. But why didn't she? I don't know the reason either. The question is, what do you plan to do next? If you just leave it like this, bad rumors might spread. Hearing Jason say this, Park Jin-woo remembered the bad memories of his childhood again. Even though I've been trying hard to meditate, this kind of thing still happened. Jin-woo even felt that his life was going to be ruined. At this moment, Jason hurriedly used his fist to inject courage into Jin-woo. You can't give up easily. You have to think of something quickly. Although I don't know why. Only that girl is not stone. But as long as we don't meet that girl, won't it be fine? As long as we avoid her in our daily life, the probability of running into her is still very low. Who would have thought? Early the next morning, Park Jin-woo encountered that girl from yesterday again. What a coincidence! We meet again. Park Jin-woo could only seek help from Jason. Calm down. Try to have a natural conversation first, Park Jin-woo told himself. Just like usual. Just talk to the stone people. Who is this person? He's the one who said I was pretty yesterday, meeting for the first time. And he said, you are pretty? That's so crazy. I was also taken aback at the time. By the way, am I pretty today too? Young Sunwoo. What on earth are you talking about? I'm asking him. Park Jin-woo turned and ran without any hesitation. He knew. It was all over, as expected of my friend. This is truly the most rational choice. In Park Jin-woo's eyes, if he didn't run just now, there would be no chance left. And that girl named Sunwoo was clearly teasing him just now. Jason had told him before, never to flatter himself. Park Jin-woo knew very well that as long as he didn't meet her, it would be fine, but the problem was among a crowd of stone people. Jung Sunwoo was just too conspicuous, as if sensing Park Jin-woo's gaze. Jung Sunwoo looked over. We meet again. However, Park Jin-woo ignored her, because avoiding was the best way. In the time that followed, Park Jin-woo thoroughly implemented this plan. After this went on a few times, he didn't even give Young Sunwoo a chance to speak. Unfortunately, Park Jin-woo didn't know that this action of his instead made Young Sunwoo care about him even more. Today passed safely. This kind of thing is really exhausting. I have to think of other countermeasures after going home. It's really too terrifying. Why did things turn out like this? However, the next second, Jung Sunwoo blocked Park Jin-woo with an annoyed look. You really scared me to death. Did I scare you just now? Park Jin-woo didn't understand why the girl appeared in front of him so frequently. He had absolutely no way to deal with it now. Are you trying to run away again? You ignore me when I say hello. Every time we make eye contact. You avoid me and run away the moment you see me. Did I do something to you? You really are strange, obviously. A new misunderstanding had arisen between the two. Park Jin-woo realized he had to solve this problem immediately. How should I put it? The reason I did this is because I haven't talked to a girl in so long. Park Jin-woo's brain short-circuited, because, except for you, all other girls are stones. Upon hearing this, Jung Sunwoo was stunned. Park Jin-woo also realized he had said something he shouldn't have. Even Jason, who usually gave advice to Park Jin-woo, was powerless at this moment. However, the next second, Jung Sun-woo, who looked surprised just now, has smiled, and she approached Park Jin-woo, step by step. What's your name? My name is Park Jin-woo. Jin-woo. Shall I tell you something? Jung Sun-woo put her mouth close to Park Jin-woo's ear. What you just said was a bit flirtatious. His brain completely lost the ability to think. Initially, to resolve Park Jin-woo's relationship with girls, Jason gave him 2 suggestions in total. The first suggestion, treat all girls as stones. When meeting Yoon Sun-woo, it failed. The second suggestion, don't flatter yourself. At the moment, Yoon Sun-woo said those words. It also failed. I'm falling. I'm falling. The moment the girl spoke, Park Jin-woo completely fell for her. In just a few seconds, he had already lived out the rest of his life with Yoon Sun-woo in his mind. At the critical moment. Fortunately, Jason used his fists in time to help him regain his sanity. Wang's absent-mindedness is also only natural anyway. It's impossible to keep avoiding her forever. What should I do now in this situation? The root cause is still your ultimate goal. Since you started looking at girls as stones, looking at them again, you won't have any emotional fluctuations. That's why you could remain calm and composed. Naturally, you didn't have to worry about being hurt by those girls. But at this time, a girl who is not a stone suddenly appeared. All the side effects of you previously viewing girls as stones have appeared. In other words, you have absolutely no immunity to a girl's face now. This shows that the emotions built up inside you have reached the point where they must be released. Isn't that a bit of an exaggeration? But you're not wrong if this goes on. We'll just repeat the same mistake. It's not like there's no way. As long as, in front of that girl, you just keep a normal mind. So the next day, Park Jin-woo started doing what Jason said. He kept staring at Yoon Sun-woo, trying hard to keep a normal mind. Did you see that? Park Jin-woo has been looking at you. That look of his is like he's glaring at me. By the way, what was this operation plan called again? It's called desensitization operation. But what's with that expression of yours? Because I can't see very clearly, it's to look a few more times at the face of a girl who is not a stone, to get myself used to it. Right? That's right. But at least manage your facial expression. How about smiling a bit? I got it. This time, I will absolutely not fail after Jin-woo finished speaking. He showed a smile that looked worse than crying. And this expression also made young Sun-woo a bit scared. Look quickly. Look quickly, Jin-woo. Is smiling at you now? That's great. He couldn't possibly think that when he peeks at others. Others won't notice, right? Otherwise, how could he stare at someone so blatantly? By the way, at this distance, others shouldn't be able to see me, right? Is there a need to purposely manage my expression? It's just that I feel a bit uncomfortable looking at it. It's about time to go, if you keep staring at someone. You'll be misunderstood. I understand, by the way. Sujin, do you know who that person is? Of course I know. Jin-woo is quite popular among girls. Really? Of course, before. There were quite a few girls who wanted to hit on him. But unfortunately, he seems completely uninterested in girls. Completely uninterested in dating. Only focusing on his own things. But speaking of which, this side of him actually makes him very popular with girls. Indeed, but why? Because Jin-woo has been looking at you. So you've also started to get a bit interested in him. What? It's not what you think, Jung Sun-woo suddenly thought of. That sentence Park Jin-woo blurted out yesterday. It's just that there's one thing that bothers me. You noticed it too, right, Jason? This operation doesn't seem to be going very well. Why do you say that? The core of this plan. Isn't it just to get me used to her face? So as to keep a normal mind? That's right. But to do that, I would have to keep following her and staring at her. But wouldn't that make me look like a stalker? It would actually seem even stranger. Looking like a stalker. That is indeed a trouble. So should we change our method? How about staring at her photo instead? Compared to staring at her blatantly. Isn't this method much better? Like checking her social media accounts and stuff, that idea. Sounds pretty good, right? Then why don't you hurry up and ask him? Do I have to go myself? What else can you do? If you just sneak around watching from behind, you'll look even more like a stalker. You're being way too dramatic. On Jason's suggestion, Park Jin-woo finally took the step. Excuse me, could I have your social media account? Actually, before coming to find Yoon Sun-woo, Park Jin-woo had already rehearsed all kinds of possible situations with Jason. But what he never expected was, Jung Sun-woo agreed right away. Of course. Open the app, I'll type it in. At that moment, Jin-woo realized things really weren't that simple. Still, at least for now, everything seemed to be going smoothly. But in the next second, Yoon Sun-woo's expression changed. It turned out there was absolutely nothing on Park Jin-woo's account. Jin-woo. Don't tell me you just created this account. Yeah. Why do you ask? It was because Park Jin-woo had never used this kind of social app before. So he had just made one on the spot. He had no idea there was anything wrong with that. But since Yoon Sun-woo was laughing, it meant there must be something he and Jason hadn't thought of. So, Jin-woo, did you make this account? Just so you could follow me? At that moment, Park Jin-woo was completely stunned. He never imagined that with just that one look through, once Yoon Sun-woo said that, Park Jin-woo finally realized what was wrong with this operation. He'd been too impulsive. He should have made a proper plan first, and then moved slowly. Just like last time. The almighty Jason's advice failed again. That's exactly how it is. Who knew I'd run into you right after I made the account? There was nothing I could do. I get it. As Young Sun-woo spoke, he moved closer to Park Jin-woo. Besides that, I wonder if you'd be interested in my phone number. Because of this unexpected development, Park Jin-woo was trembling non-stop. I'm just kidding, Jin-woo. Your reaction is way too much. You're already following me. So you can take your phone back. Remember to give me lots of likes, okay? See you? After Young Sun-woo disappeared from sight, Park Jin-woo was still frozen in place. He started fantasizing about his future life again. Don't make me look at that stuff anymore. Sorry. That night, after getting home, Yoon Sun-woo opened his phone to check Park Jin-woo's posts. What is this? His photography skills are awful, it turned out. That to avoid making his intentions too obvious, Park Jin-woo had deliberately posted a selfie. But the next second, while he was sound asleep, his phone suddenly lit up. It turned out that Jung Sun-woo had just given his selfie. It's very first-like. This girl deliberately fell to the ground, just to attract the boy, and get him to help her up, to achieve her goal. Suk-young even specifically called out Park Jin-woo's name. But what the girl didn't know was that in Park Jin-woo's eyes, she was just a rock. Park Jin-woo did help the girl up, but he did it like he was lifting up a little chick. And even after that, he didn't give Suk-young any chance to speak. Before walking away, while Suk-young was still in a daze, she heard Young Sun-woo laughing behind her. He actually just picked you up like that. Looks like what you said before was really true. Still, even Suk-young hadn't expected Park Jin-woo to treat her so differently compared to Young Sun-woo. It turned out that not long ago, Young Sun-woo had told Suk-young that Park Jin-woo had added his social media account. He even followed me with a brand new account. Seriously? Looks like he really is into you. But I'm a little curious. Curious about what? Is he really not interested in girls at all? Of course it's true, he's only interested in you. While the two were talking, Park Jin-woo, coincidentally, happened to pass by. Let me do an experiment for you, to show you if what I said is true. And so, that's how Soo-jin faked a fall to seek Park Jin-woo's help. You've been looking for so long. Are you used to that girl's face now? Currently still under continuous observation? However, just as Park Jin-woo finished speaking, her face instantly flushed red. Every time I see her, there's a new feeling. How should I put it? It seems I still have a long way to go. In my opinion, you must understand the root cause. What root cause? Why all girls are like stones. But she is the only one who isn't? As for the current situation, I've listed a few hypotheses. Wait a second. Isn't that person ahead Young Sun-woo? Why is she here, just at this moment? Jung Sun-woo also noticed Park Jin-woo walking over. Hi, Jin-woo. At the moment their eyes met, Jin-woo became extremely nervous. Even just to open his mouth and speak, he had to mentally prepare himself first. What are you doing here? I need to take the bus home. But I don't have the fare right now. Oh, I see. Where is your house? I live in the Siamok Village Apartments. Aren't the Siamok Village Apartments just ahead? Can't you just walk there? That's not so easy. Why do you say that? At this time, Jung Sun-woo suddenly blushed. How should I put it? Actually, I have chronic anemia. This is all I have. Are you going to use that to pay the bus fare? That's not what I meant. This feels like extortion. Why don't we have Jin-woo walk me home? But You're not thinking of leaving me behind, are you? Let's go quickly, just like that. Park Jin-woo, who hadn't developed resistance to Young Sun-woo yet, had to shoulder the heavy burden of walking him home. Do you know what Suk-young said at that time? On the way, Young Sun-woo kept talking about what happened today. But Park Jin-woo's mind is a mess right now. Unable to hear anything, and his face feels hot too. Because Park Jin-woo never expected to go home with Young Sun-woo. Jin-woo, are you listening? But soon, Jung Sun-woo noticed Park Jin-woo's abnormality. It turns out, this kind of thing had happened once before. Because he shared the same route home with a girl when they were young. So, Park Jin-woo developed a crush on that girl. Unfortunately, after just a few days, when they were walking home together, they were seen by other kids. Those kids said the two of them were dating. But the girl flatly denied it. And even said something that Park Jin-woo still remembers vividly. Who would like a guy like him? From that day on, that girl never walked home with Park Jin-woo again. And the relationship just fizzled out. So even if the person next to him was Young Sun-woo, this feeling was still very uncomfortable for Park Jin-woo. But fortunately, Jung Sun-woo usually takes the bus. So this situation shouldn't happen often. Just at this moment, Park Jin-woo finally noticed that Young Sun-woo beside him was gone. He turned around only to find Jung Sun-woo sitting on the ground in a sorry state. How did this happen? Where did you fall? Shut up! Didn't I say I have chronic anemia? It's all because of this uphill road. Can you give me a hand? Of course. Park Jin-woo subconsciously reached out his hand. Can you go a bit slower? Then be careful, thank you. After pulling Young Sun-woo up, Jin-woo kept staring at the hand that had just held Young Sun-woo's. Jung Sun-woo looked up only to find Park Jin-woo was actually standing still again. It turned out that film started playing in Park Jin-woo's mind again. And while Jason was negotiating with him at this time, Jung Sun-woo recalled how Park Jin-woo pulled Soo-jin up. Compared to how he just pulled himself up, Soo-jin was indeed right back then. When you pulled Soo-jin up before, you just lifted her straight up. What are you talking about? Who is Soo-jin anyway? By the way, I'm almost home. Walking me to here is fine. Thank you so much for walking me home today. Park Jin-woo couldn't help but sigh in relief in his heart. It's finally over. Actually, for Park Jin-woo, walking home with a girl is a very painful thing. Fortunately, starting tomorrow, this kind of thing won't happen anymore. He prayed in his heart that Young Sun-woo must have bus fare tomorrow, and that her chronic anemia would get better soon, so that he wouldn't get the wrong idea. However, not long after they parted, Jung Sun-woo remembered something. Good thing I remembered, otherwise, I almost forgot. Jin-woo. Hearing Jung Sun-woo call his name, Park Jin-woo shuddered violently. It will take some time for me to get my pocket money. So I will have to trouble you again at this time tomorrow. Just ran a little bit. And now my head is spinning again. Jason, what should I do? I want to end this quickly. I really want to run away. I understand everything you said, but what's with that expression on your face? Just at this moment, Jin-woo heard Young Sun-woo scream again. It turned out, because of her chronic anemia, she fell down once again. After years of effort, the boy gained a superpower. He could see all girls as stones. But one day, Jin-woo met a girl who couldn't turn into a stone. And at this time, because he hadn't seen a normal girl in years, he couldn't resist Young Sun-woo's charm at all. Let's continue what we didn't finish saying yesterday. Why is it that only Sunwoo doesn't look like a stone? The female student named Yoon Sunwoo, who suddenly appeared. The reason why only she didn't turn into stone. The most likely hypothesis. Is that after hearing what Jason said? Park Jinwoo was stunned. Is it really just that? I can't think of any other reason besides that. Let's talk later then. I have to go to school now. However, after Park Jinwoo opened the door, his father stopped him. Looking at his father's expression, one could tell their relationship wasn't very good usually. Did you sleep well yesterday? Park Jinwoo said, bowing. What about breakfast? I'm not hungry, so I won't eat. I'm heading to school first. Your mother made kimchi soup. I'll eat it when I get back. Eat well before you go. Okay, father. Then I'll be going now, in every word and action of Park Jinwoo. There was full of caution. Jason, if the hypothesis you propose is correct, then from now on I can only be led by the nose by Sunwoo. Is this fate? There's nothing that can be done about it. I hope your hypothesis is not true. Don't worry too much. However, at this moment, someone suddenly stopped Park Jinwoo, and that person was none other than Yoon Sunwoo's best friend, Stu Jin. Park Jinwoo, I want to beat you up. At that moment, Park Jinwoo was dumbfounded, because he didn't know the person in front of him at all. It turns out, after being treated differently by Park Jinwoo yesterday, Soo-jin had been practicing low kicks. I practiced all night yesterday, just to make you feel the pain. But I don't even know you. Did you say you don't know me at all? This is the first time I've experienced something so humiliating. So many people were watching back then. I will absolutely never forgive a guy like you. Next, I will use 3 low kicks on you. So look forward to it. Why is it me? Shut up already, you 4-eyed bastard. Realizing that Soo-jin was serious, Park Jinwoo immediately turned and ran. I'm a very fast runner. I'm not like Sunwoo. I don't have anemia, maybe in the eyes of others. Soo-jin is quite cute, but in Park Jinwoo's eyes, the charging Soo-jin was absolutely terrifying. It felt like a rock rolling down in a landslide. I've got you, you 4-eyed bastard. At the crucial moment, Jung Sunwoo suddenly appeared. What are you doing? Why are you being so loud? However, before he could even see what was happening, the low kick Soo-jin had practiced all day struck his calf. At that instant, time seemed to freeze. Soo-jin also finally realized that she seemed to have kicked the wrong person. You see, Yoon Sunwoo was usually in poor health, and the single kick directly damaged his ankle ligaments. And hearing Soo-jin call Sunwoo's name, Park Jinwoo panicked as well. He suddenly turned around while running, and ended up tripping over his own feet. With a huge momentum, Park Jinwoo's face made intimate contact with the floor. And the consequence of this was, Park Jinwoo fractured his nasal bone, just like that. Soo-kyung delivered just a single kick, successfully taking down 2 people, but obviously, this was not what she wanted at all, left with no choice. Soo-kyung could only apologize while sending the 2 of them to the infirmary. Soo-jin was already weird to begin with. I'm actually fine. Park Jinwoo didn't expect that due to various accidents. He would end up alone with Yoon Sunwoo again. He could only ask Jason for help. You can't let your inner weakness be discovered. What are you doing? Now is my snack time. The 2 of them had actually discussed this situation before. If being alone with Yoon Sunwoo was unavoidable, Park Jinwoo would have to watch his words and actions at all times. And absolutely must not say the wrong thing. Jinwoo, what is your lunch today? Is it fried chicken nuggets? Really? Looks like something delicious is coming. Are you serious? Jinwoo, did you eat breakfast this morning? I don't really eat breakfast. Why? You'll get hungry like that. Because my father is there in the morning, and I don't want to be with him. So I always leave quickly. You should get along well with your father. Of course, let me tell you. Before Soo-kyung once. At this moment, Park Jinwoo looked at Yoon Sunwoo's face, but thought back to when they first met. That sentence, he blurted out back then. Park Jinwoo thought it was because he hadn't seen a girl for too long. But now it seemed that wasn't the case. Because Yoon Sunwoo was simply too beautiful. What are you looking at so intently? Is it because I'm too beautiful? It's not like that. What I was looking at just now. I'm sorry. I was just joking. Jinwoo, teasing you is really fun. What do you mean by that? Just literally what I said. Just being talked to a little. And getting all flustered and panicked. And occasionally saying weird things. I'm sorry. No, that's not what I meant. Actually, what I wanted to say is, you are really cute, Jinwoo. At this moment, Park Jinwoo suddenly thought of what Jason had said. In your eyes, the only reason she didn't turn into stone. The most likely hypothesis is that you fell in love at first sight with this girl named Yoon Sunwoo. Now, except for that hypothesis, I can't think of anything else. Park Jinwoo suddenly felt that this might actually be quite nice. After the 2 of them fully recovered from their injuries, they even specially prepared a lesson for Soo-jin. You have to take responsibility for what you did, Jinwoo. You must not let go. Are you ready? I'm going to start kicking. Yoon Sunwoo indeed landed the kick. But unfortunately, the one who got kicked was Park Jinwoo. He couldn't help but wonder, why is it always him who gets hurt? Park Jinwoo finally made up his mind to tell Yoon Sunwoo that he fell in love with her at first sight. To his surprise, Yoon Sunwoo's reaction was completely different from usual. The thing he feared most still happened. Just because I was a little nice to you, did you start imagining a happy future? I really don't know who would like someone like you. It turned out that all of this was a dream Pop Jinwoo had. Seeing you so nervous, did you dream of something bad? With you gasping for breath like this? What kind of nightmare was that? I was despised by Yoon Sunwoo. Could it be that your trauma regarding women is acting up again? Probably, actually. Lately, I've been having the same dream repeatedly. Since when did it start? Ever since the idea of falling in love with Sunwoo at first sight came up. I see. If that hypothesis is correct, Then this is unrequited love, my friend. You are feeling afraid. I have only one piece of advice for you. Know yourself and know your enemy. And you will never be defeated. So you mean to have me get to know Young Sunwoo better? Right? Exactly. Come to think of it. I really don't know much about Sunwoo. This strategy seems pretty good. Before long, the two of them arrived at class 5 of the second year of high school, which is Young Sunwoo's class. It's the first time visiting someone else's class. So I'm a bit nervous. Don't be nervous, my friend. After looking around, Park Jin-woo noticed a problem. Although this is Young Sunwoo's class, she was nowhere to be seen in the classroom. Just at that moment, someone called out to Park Jin-woo. Hey, you over there. This is my seat. Seeing the boy in front of him, Park Jin-woo instinctively froze for a moment, but he still quickly moved out of the way. Sorry. I'll get out of your way right now. Good. What is with this fat guy's attitude? I really want to beat him up. Excuse me, classmate. Have you seen Sunwoo? This should be Sunwoo's seat, right? However, the boy's reply was indeed. Occasionally, it does happen. To be by that kind of woman. Captivated you, little kid. Jinwoo really couldn't understand why this guy's attitude was so terrible. This fat guy is just a total jerk. No way. Jason, you have to enjoy it a bit more. Stop talking nonsense, you little fatty. Don't you know where Sunwoo went? Do you think I tell you the whereabouts of that detestable woman? You call her a detestable woman? Don't you dare insult Sunwoo. You are also seriously ill. It seems you are completely infatuated with that bad woman. Excuse me, classmate. Please stand up for a moment. I have a very important matter to tell you. What a hassle. What is it that you must have me stand to listen to? Because I really can't stand it anymore. After saying you hateful fat boy, Park Jinwoo whipped the boy wildly with his own clothes. But what he didn't expect was, that boy still seemed to enjoy it a bit at this time. Jung Sunwoo just came back. What happened? Why? There was a pig slaughtering sound from the classroom. Jinwoo, why are you here? Sunwoo, you're back? This hateful fat boy said you are a bad woman. So, that's why I'm beating him up? Go ahead and beat him. It's fine. He's always been like this. Answer me quickly. Why did you call Sunwoo names, you bastard? This guy has been like this since he was a kid. Do you mean childhood? Because Lim Kyu-min, he is? My childhood friend? I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have beaten you just now. It's okay. Anyway, it doesn't hurt. Have you and Sunwoo been friends since childhood? Yes. We've known each other since we were 3, Park Jinwoo immediately realized. Now is the best time to execute Plan Jason. If you are targeting Young Sunwoo, I advise you. You'd better give up. You might not know, but Sunwoo's popularity is insanely high. The men who target him could fill a whole truck, but so far, no one has ever succeeded. However, the fact that Young Sunwoo is highly popular, Park Jinwoo actually knew it long ago. After all, her social media account has over 20,000 followers, but if those men are not to her liking, isn't that also possible? After all, people have preferences. That is completely possible, right? I told you to give up. Jung Sunwoo is not because of that reason. Then what is the reason? I said it before, I've known Young Sunwoo since I was 3. Going to school. And always in the same school. And so, before we knew it, the time we spent together increased. That was something that happened when I was in middle school. You bad woman. If you have nothing to do, go buy a bread for me. Do you know what I saw at that time? That incident, I still can't forget it to this day. That day, I felt a strange sensation from Young Sunwoo, even though she was still smiling as usual. But that was no longer the Young Sunwoo. I knew. And this feeling still continues to this day. It was from that day on that Young Sunwoo became a bit off. That's why I told you to just give up on Young Sunwoo. Park Jinwoo didn't understand what the sense of incongruity Lim Kyu-min spoke of actually was, but he had never felt that kind of feeling from Young Sunwoo so far. Actually, from the very beginning, Park Jinwoo intended to just listen half-heartedly. After all, this was just Lim Kyu-min's personal advice. However, at this time, he heard Young Sunwoo's voice. What's this? You two got close so quickly and even walked together. Where did you go? Park Jinwoo was also too embarrassed to say he went to ask about Young Sunwoo. He was about to just say something to brush it off. Unexpectedly, Lim Kyu-min spoke first. Of course we were talking bad about you behind your back. You bad woman? At that moment, Park Jinwoo was dumbfounded. She really didn't understand what on earth was wrong with Lim Kyu-min. In order to understand Young Sunwoo, Cho Jinwoo went out of his way to find her childhood friend. Little did he expect. After meeting Young Sunwoo, Kim Kyu-min said he was talking bad about her behind her back. At that moment, Cho Jinwoo was completely dumbfounded. Is it true that you guys were talking bad about me behind my back? How could I possibly do such a thing? Unexpectedly, Soo-jin also got involved. I knew it would be like this. Park Jinwoo's character is just like this. I told you I didn't. We were indeed talking bad about you. I told him all the bad things you did before. I really can't stand you, you bastard. As expected, he's a jerk just like before. Lim Kyu-min really seemed to want to get beaten up. Well done. If we don't separate them soon, I'd want to kill this bastard myself. What on earth is going on? Don't mind these brainless and idle guys. However, even though Soo-jin said so, Jung San-woo was still a bit concerned. Until school let out, Park Jin-woo's mind was still full of the things that happened today. This is a bit bad. Not only have I failed to find any useful information, but I've also caused quite a few misunderstandings. This is all because of that bastard, talking about some sense of incongruity, and saying all that gibberish. I have to kill him right now, just at that moment. Jung Sun-woo suddenly called out to Park Jin-woo. Jin-woo, did you have fun gossiping about me behind my back? Hearing Jung Sun-woo say this, Park Jin-woo instantly panicked. It was only then that Park Jin-woo finally remembered. Jung Sun-woo seemed to do this occasionally. Sun-woo, actually. I didn't talk bad about you behind your back. I know. It must have been Lim Kyu-min playing a joke anyway. That guy is always like that. Jinwoo would never do such a thing. By the way, Jinwoo, walk me home. I don't have bus fare today either. That's right, and just thinking about walking uphill gives me a headache. Situation is a bit complicated. Jason, although I wasn't talking bad about her, it's a fact that I discussed her behind her back. That's true. Anyway, we must never let her know about this. That goes without saying. Just as Park Jinwoo was thinking this, Jung Sunwoo suddenly spoke up. As expected, I hate uphill roads the most. Is this kind of road really that hard to walk? Of course it is. The typical symptoms of anemia are weakness and fatigue. Especially when climbing stairs or going uphill. You get extremely out of breath. Not to mention headaches, in severe cases. You can't catch your breath even when standing still. That must be really tough, so Jinwoo, give me a push from behind. Is this really okay? Hurry up and push. Don't you want to go home early? After preparing himself mentally, Cho Jinwoo tremblingly placed his hand on young Sunwoo's back. How is it? Is it still tiring? It's indeed much easier. But by the way, it feels a bit ticklish. You say ticklish? Yeah. Because when other people touch my back, I'm a bit sensitive. Cho Jinwoo's face instantly turned red. This kind of talk made him very flustered. He couldn't help but start thinking, if only I could get a little closer to Sunwoo. If we could become even closer than we are now? Would there be a day when I could carry Sunwoo on my back like this? That's great. It's really sweet and heartwarming. You think so too, right? Jason, it's just at this level of fantasy. It should be fine, right? It's not like we're naming a child. I agree with this. Imagination is free, so I just thought about it like this. It should be fine too, right? At this moment, Young Sunwoo spoke up. Jinwoo, please a little slower. I can barely breathe. I'm really sorry. Because I was just spacing out. That's why it ended up like this. Just as Park Jinwoo finished speaking, he suddenly froze. Because he suddenly realized the scenery of this place is truly beautiful. Not to mention the wide view. His mood also became cheerful. It turns out, Sunwoo lives near here. What's going on? To think there's a place like this near my house. Even I didn't know about it. Really? Sunwoo, is this your first time here too? Because this height is not something a patient with chronic anemia can climb. That's true. And because of you, I'm exhausted. Now we have to walk back. I'm really sorry, but since you showed me such a beautiful place, I'll forgive you today. The evening breeze brushed through the girl's hair. The glow of the setting sun painted a blush on her cheeks. So beautiful. At this time, Park Jinwoo suddenly thought of what Lim Kyumin said about the sense of incongruity he felt from Young Sunwoo. Although Park Jinwoo wasn't sure what this feeling actually was, but right now, except for Sunwoo, there was no one else in his eyes. If it's a sense of incongruity, does this count as incongruity, Sunwoo? I was talking about you behind your back earlier. Hearing Park Jinwoo suddenly say this, Jung Sunwoo also froze. Speaking ill of me behind my back? Really? No, it's not like that. I wasn't speaking ill of you behind your back, because I accidentally found out that Lim Kyumin is your childhood friend. Actually, I just wanted to know a bit more about you. After hearing this, the girl's face blushed even redder. In the end, it somehow turned into speaking ill of you behind your back. I absolutely did not speak ill of you behind your back. Absolutely not. The reason I'm saying this is actually just because I hope you won't misunderstand. After listening to what Park Jinwoo said, Jung Sunwoo's eyes inadvertently looked into the distance. So that's how it is. Why care about something like this? I've already forgotten about it. Really? Of course. Let's go back. Is the downhill path okay? Of course it's fine, although we took a detour. But thank you for walking me back. See you tomorrow. After saying those words, Park Jinwoo also felt a lot better. His reaction was quite ambiguous, Jason. What do you think? I'm a bit puzzled. By the way, did you have to be so straightforward? Is that so? Although I understand your desire to be honest with him, but sometimes, some things are meant to be quietly turned over. Now, I'm a bit curious about what he's actually thinking. Just as Jason expected, Jung Sunwoo was also recalling those words Park Jinwoo just said. It really is just like Jinwoo's style. He seems to occasionally